There we are. I didn't hit the button hard enough. That's why we're late.
Killing me.
I'm killing Rebecca today. She's here with us live today. I'm so excited. This is Miss Rebecca. She's always like, she's there, but she's behind the scenes. She kind of,
It's where I thrive.
I'm not looking at the tape again. I have to tell you, so when you jump on and say hello and where you're from, I'm going to look at the tape. So I've been filming for a long time, years now, and I always look at somewhere else on the iPad instead of where the camera is. So she put a big piece of tape on it because it looks like I'm talking to somebody.
Like, where is she looking at?
She said, her husband said, who's she talking to?
Like, just herself. I don't know.
So funny. Okay, we're live now.
Okay.
Okay. We're excited to jump on with you. We're going to paint my, one of my favorite things to paint. So we probably have, I don't even know how many pumpkins paintings. 30, 40, more, maybe. I don't even know. I lose track of everything. So we're going to paint our pumpkins today. So say hello as you're getting on. I'm going to look at the tape. I need to put my glasses on. So did you guys enjoy this gorgeous day? It was so beautiful today. Hi Mel, how are you? Hello Katrina, hey Beverly, hey Bev, hi Deb. Everybody comes on so fast I missed like the first so many people. You can only see the last 5 when you're live on my computer anyway. Hi Lynn, thanks for sharing. So guys, when you get on, share the live so you get entered into the contest. So if you've already liked our page, you've done that, but share the live and then also type in shared because we're doing the prize wheels and we have Eliza Beal on the back end. We have Miss Haley on the back end and we have Miss Rebecca in person. Your skin's glowing. I tell her that every time I see her. She has such nice skin, you know.
Oh, hot under these legs.
To be young again. I could be her mom. I actually couldn't.
I guess.
Yeah, I know.
A young mom.
That's sad. Not that young. Let's see who's jumping on. Hey Dee, how are you? Leslie Tabor, how are you, my friend? She's on a trip, or she would be online with us as well. She's one of our team members that works out of Texas, and so we love our Leslie. Look, oh, I'm so glad you guys are jumping on. Aren't you glad I sent out the text like before we started?
Oh, I didn't know you did.
I did. Yeah, I sent out emails and texts before we started, and yesterday I sent out the text maybe 10 minutes after we started. So. Yeah. Oh, thanks for sharing. Keep sharing, ladies. That's awesome. So you'll be entered to win a free month of HQ membership. If you're already a member, you'll get an additional month for free and $20 Casey Cash. We're going to pull that 3 times with prize wheels. You can enter every single day. So make sure you share every day so you can have 6 entries. We're going to do 3 wheels. Okay. So that's exciting. Yeah. And then we're going to give away Casey Cash to the app. So we have our app right here. So if you don't have our app downloaded, we actually give away our cash on here where we have our own, we have too many things sitting here. We have our own line of paintbrushes. We're giving away some of our dome brushes during the live. I can't talk again. These are coming back in stock. They sold out right away, but our 10-piece pack of paintbrushes coming back in stock next week. But we're gonna give away the 2-piece today, Casey Cash, so you can put it towards a kit, paintbrushes, easels, aprons, any of that stuff, wood pieces, and then Amazon and Michael's gift cards as well. Yeah. Okay. I'm so glad she's here with me, so I'm not talking to myself. I like that. I can't get this off again. I don't have good fingers today. I know. It's like, hi Kathy, she's from California. Becky, you want to order the brushes? Awesome. The brushes are a little bit different than what brushes you would find if you order from somewhere else because we made a little stiffer bristle. It's still soft, but so awesome for like dry brushing and when you're using a little bit of paint or when you need to make a nice crisp line. Also, like I love them so much, you know. So
me too.
Mine are always covered because you pack them over.
I pack them, love them.
Rebecca, the reason why your kids look so well is because she's in charge of them. Like, they're so neat. If you get a kit that's like in disarray, it's for me. Well, actually, like, I mean the tape on the outside and stuff. All her stuff is like perfect. Like, if I'll be like, oh, I'll help you out and I'll get that one out the door today, you know, if you're not here. And then you know it's from, like, you know, it's from me.
That's all right.
Louisiana. Thanks for sharing, Teresa and everybody. Hi, Michelle. Hey, Becky. You can't wait to get them. Yay. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Shared. So keep sharing each day, guys, so you can get entered to win, and like our page and then comment shared, and you're entered. And so does anybody have any questions from yesterday? There's light bouncing off these. They look like this thick on there, my glasses.
They're fine.
I blacked out one of the centers of the sunflowers because we had a request to show that again. So we're going to show that again today. So I'll do that first before we start painting pumpkins. And let me see. Excited for night 2. Yay. And I'll try not to keep you so long this time. I know we had to go over so much on the first day, so that's why. Linda Baker says, hello, Rebecca.
Oh, hello.
Linda's coming for Members Weekend, so we'll get to see her, and that's how she's going to celebrate her birthday before her knee replacement. So we'll make sure you have lots of fun. Thank you for sharing, Gail. Hi, Miss Lucy. Hi, Donna from California. We're excited. Okay, so first of all, if you're new to us and you don't know how to get your free stencil and supplies list, you go to kckhq.com, scroll down to the middle, and that's where you're going to see the free workshop. And what it'll do after you put in your email and I believe your first name, then it'll kick you back at a library. It's a free library, a link to your free library in your email. And it'll have the stencils and the supplies list. This will print out, because this is a large painting at 16 by 20, this will print out 6 pages. And then we also have a link in there on how to transfer your stencil and how to trace your stencil as well. All the stencils are done by Miss Rebecca.
Not all.
Almost. A lot of them.
Yeah. Good amount.
You guys do such an amazing job. That's the other thing. If you see a stencil from me, it's from Rapid Resizer. Because I just don't do this well.
All right.
There's some things you're good at and some things you're not. You know.
Yeah, a lot of things.
A lot of things I'm not good at.
I mean, I don't paint, so there's.
You have painted. Listen,
painted.
Like by her 3rd class, she was
I only took
amazing. 3. Yeah, exactly. And then we sucked her in for work. You know, she works with Erica, who works here also. So she made Erica completely independent in our studio. She's, I would say support person, but I don't know. Yeah. And so she brings her out into the community. They do things together all the time, but she made her completely 100% efficient in the studio in such a short time. It was amazing. And then we stole her, and now she's the studio manager. Like, we sucked you in.
That's okay.
But today we're going to start with our pumpkins. You have a supplies list. So in our library, you're going to see, so you don't have to get our same exact paint colors or anything like that. You can use your own paints that you have. There's a swatch if you want a similar color to what we have. There's a link to what we have, and then there's a swatch to what we, like a swatch so you can match up. Say you have Liquitex or you have different brands that we don't use, you can use it on here. It doesn't mean you can't use it. If you have craft paints, it's totally fine as well. What I do suggest is that when you paint, say you start painting with us a lot, I suggest that you get like a thick white. You can still continue to use any other thinner base paints, but I do suggest a thick white. My favorite is Lucas. This is from jerry'sartorama.com. Lucas paint. We have a lot of their colors as well, because it's kind of a lazy thing on my side, because I loved all their pastel colors, so I kind of pulled all those in. And then we also use Creative Inspirations paints, but you don't have to. You can use Art Deco, you can use anything you like, but I think your life will be made a little bit easier, especially when we're dry brushing, to use a thicker white, okay? Let me see. Hello, Ann. Hi, Pam. Thanks. Can you give the link to the, so we have an app, okay, so people are asking, like, how do you get to the app? You just search KCK in the App Store. If you have an Android or you have an Apple, just search KCK and it'll come up, okay? If you prefer to work from a desktop, I'm kind of old school. We have all these other gadgets, but I like to work from a desktop, as you know. Yeah. So, Haley or Rebecca, can you put the link to the desktop for our kits and paintbrushes
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So they'll put that in the comments so you have that. If you want to text, and I actually did it today before we go live all week, and I don't spam, I don't send out any texts otherwise. I'm lucky I get this one out. You text the word pumpkins to 724-995-0149. Now, if you're a member in our membership group, you text the word member and you will get all the texts to the same number. Is it member or members? It's just member, right? You think I'd know after 3 years.
Member 10.
No, that's something else.
Oh, first.
No, not from the app.
Oh,
Never mind. Sorry. That's for the text.
I'm trying to do.
She's
do
on the
50
app.
things.
She's doing a lot of,
Sorry.
at one time. If you're new to us and you're just jumping on tonight, tell you a little bit about us is that we have a beautiful studio about 45 minutes north of Pittsburgh where we teach all different things every single day. We also have a ceramic studio as well. We have a special needs program. We work with all the local schools. We have paint and sips. We have art camps. We do a little bit of everything. We work with veterans as well. So it's a little bit, I'll show our studio. This is our studio where we are right now. And we do call it our happy place. And then about 3 years ago, we started our online membership. It's actually 3 years this month.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's our anniversary actually. I think it was the 7th of this month.
Listen.
Katrina Pratt, who's she's on right now. Thank you for sharing, ladies. She was our very first member. She's been with us through it all.
Okay.
Yeah. But we started it during COVID because
She's still here.
She's still here. Aren't you sick of us, Katrina? She's flying in too. I can't wait to meet her in person. A lot of our members are clear across the country, and we have a members weekend next month. So we'll get to meet so many members. It's going to be so much fun. There's Robin. Hello. So nice to see you. I can't wait till you come to, Donna. Yes, oh my God, 3 years already, Leslie. Can you believe it? And Leslie was one of the first also, and she also works with us as well. We recruited her from Texas. Yeah, so we have some people that work with us out of state as well. Can you go over, I missed something.
Okay.
Can you go over, okay. It goes up.
Can you go
I'm
over
here,
how
never
to
sick of
darken?
this, she said.
Can you go over how to darken a light area in the background? What brush do we use?
Okay, so what I do with that is I would just use the same brush that we were using, okay? And so, of course, you're gonna wet it, and then you're going to get a little bit of black. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start in the darkest area first, and you're gonna take off your pressure, making your X-like strokes as you go out further, okay? If there is a line between your other colors you have here and the black, when you let off your pressure, it's gonna let those other colors show through, just very slightly, okay? So it'll look a little bit like an ombre going up. But if there's a line, like you can definitely tell where that black starts and stops, and you're gonna have to do a little bit of a dance and come back in with your blues and your greens, and then lift off your pressure as you come towards the black, okay? Same thing down here. You can just take some black underneath your pumpkins, take off your pressure, making long strokes, lifting off as you're coming towards this light area. If you go too far, take your lighter colors and pull that back, lifting off as you come to the darkness, okay? Whenever we're creating our paintings, I'm gonna go over something similar, just with that, we're gonna use a little different part of the brush. There's a fly in there, and it is found us. I have a wing to my hair, I see. I'm still talking into this the whole time.
All right,
It's hard. I have to look at the tape, they said, the tape.
Yeah.
How fun. That member get together. So, we're so excited about it. We're very excited. One day you'll have to come, Dee. We did have to close the registration last month because we had to order all the things, the wood products, the shirts, like everything. But hopefully next year you can make it with us. That would be fantastic. Hi, Tamra. Hey, Miss Susan, how are you? So first what I'm going to do is I blacked out the center of one of my sunflowers. So I'm going to go over here and go to my easel. I'm going to look here. And it's hard to break that after 3 years.
I know.
I just want to say.
It's okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to
You don't have to.
You said I look crazy.
No, I didn't say
She's
you were
the one
crazy.
person that definitely tells me, like, you tell me as it is
No
all the
filter.
time. There's no
Tell
filter.
you how it
Yeah,
is.
no filter. Okay, so what's gonna happen is Rebecca's gonna tell me any of your questions while I'm painting. That way we can move along. And remember, if you're just jumping on, then you can share. If you share this live, then we enter you into a prize wheel where you can win a free month of KCK HQ and $20 Casey Cash. So what KCK HQ is, if you go to kckhq.com and you click on like ways to paint with Casey, and the HQ membership has a vault of at least 500 full tutorials, stencil supplies list. We also have notes with almost all of our, and some of our old ones don't have notes, but if you teach, then you have written notes, you know, to keep you on track when you're teaching as well, that you can print out and take with you. We also have a section called Grab and Go in there as well with a lot of tutorials. We have hundreds of bonus tutorials and hundreds of technique tutorials. And I paint live with our group, which I love so much, every single week. And oh, can you grab those and I'll get started in just a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I put you in that bad position.
Yeah,
We moved the table today. But I'm going to show you, because people wrote questions. Show me, can you grab the ones from this month on the right real quick, and then we'll get the other ones, if you just want to hand me the stack. Oh, you forgot. Okay. So this is one of the newer paintings I'll be painting with the membership. This one starts actually next Tuesday. So I go in every single Tuesday. You can count on me on Tuesday unless there's just something odd and I switch it to another day. So we have our Cowboy Gone Fishing. So I'm painting this with the group. And then we have our, Haley actually named this. Haley's on the back end. And it's Bewitched Ghost, right?
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to be painting this. Not in this order, but these are our next 5, okay, that I paint with the membership. We have this one. This made me laugh. I made a cat and a dog trick-or-treating. I reference real things when I'm painting, so I was looking at cats like on their hind legs. And so this one I'm going to be teaching in the membership as well. We have I call these muted pumpkins, because we have so many pumpkins paintings I can't come up with any other names. And we want to be able to find them when we look for them, like verbally, or not verbally, like in words, we need to find them. And so I'm teaching that as well. And then we also have this one, which is our Starry Sunflowers painting. I'm teaching that in the group as well. Last month, I'll show you what I did teach in the group before Rebecca's running around now.
It's okay.
Do you want to hand me Zoe first, maybe?
Yeah.
The 2 dogs. Yeah, sorry.
I knocked it over.
Okay, so I'll take that one too. Thank you. I owe you. Okay, so I did a dog workshop, okay? So I painted this pet, but we have videos on how to paint your own pet, how to trace your own stencil. But you also have 5 sessions on how to paint. This was a German Shepherd that I painted. The originals with my mom. This is the one that I painted in our group. So you have that, and at the same time, I also painted Buddy. He wasn't filmed. This is one of my dogs, and he was actually really quick. He took like less than 2 hours to paint. But it shows you, I made another example because it shows you how you can create your own pet. Okay, so that's in there. So that was one of the ones we did last month, and then I'll show you the other 4 or 5 paintings. So you're guaranteed 4 new paintings a month, but I've never stuck to 4. I always throw in bonuses and everything else, right? Yeah. We painted this, was this last week or the week before? I don't even know. The week before last. So this was our summer truck that we painted with the group. We did our sunset turtle. We have lots of turtles, I think, so we're like, this was last week, wasn't it? I don't even know anymore. Okay, so this is Northern Lights. This was so much fun. These came out beautiful in the studio and out of the studio. This was probably the first one of the month, which is, we do have like 47 gnomes, by the way. If you like gnomes, we have lots of gnomes. And so this was our nurse gnome. And then this was the other one that we did. This was Midnight on the Lake. So I was showing people how to use their fan brushes. Also, this was one of the ones that the dome brush was so good for as well, for the leaves on the trees. You can use a sea sponge or a dome brush for that. But I think that explains a little bit. So you get the whole vault of everything I've ever done in there, but you also, I get to paint live with you guys. You get the stencils, and it's a privilege for me to paint live with our group. It's so relaxing, and we have the most wonderful members. If you want to tag the membership in there too, so we had good amount of people that joined us last night and today. So make sure that you go to the private group and join it, because that's where we inspire each other. We post all the things we're working on. That's where we have the events of what's coming up next and when I'm coming live in there. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah? So I need my glasses again.
All right.
And then I'm going to paint the inside of a sunflower. Oh, thank you guys so much. Yay. Let me see. Why did you choose a black canvas over a white one? So I'm not sure which painting you're referring to, but this one is on a black canvas because you don't have to take the time to build in the dark areas, which add dimension, okay? So when you have a painting that has a lot of darkness, like this background is dark, so it would have taken a little bit more to make it dark. So instead we use a black canvas. Centers of the sunflowers are dark, so we would have had to paint all those black first also. The stems need to be black first. All of this needs to be black first. This is helpful to have black first as well. Same thing with leaves. I'm always blacking leaves out first or putting green and black together. So that's how I chose the black canvas for that. Once you start painting with us, and you'll understand how I build paintings and why I choose one over the other. Believe it or not, after a handful of paintings, you're going to be like, I know how she did that. I know how she did that. And you wouldn't have to watch the video with that part if you didn't want to. It really, you will like put tons of tools into your painting toolbox, okay? But sometimes it's so much easier and quicker to build on a black canvas or a white canvas. Like it just depends on what it is.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Okay? I'm looking at the tape.
Good job.
Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my easel. So the other thing that screws me up is because I'm on the other side of how I usually paint, okay? So my husband, he was covering that plate yesterday for me because we drove over here together, so we waited. And unfortunately, like he smashed down all the paint, so we had to we were saving it, but we had to put it on here. So white, black, I have my sap green on here. I have both my browns. That's just a dark green. I have a light brown raw sienna. I have a dark brown, which is Van Dyke brown. I have a Viridian, which is a teal. I have a phthalo blue, which is a dark blue. I have an orange, which is a cad orange. And I have a cad yellow light hue. It's called cad yellow light hue, but any cad yellow would do, okay? I'm just gonna pull this around here.
Oh yeah.
I think we just need to backlight a little bit.
Okay.
We're still not used to the light over here, and I thought I'd get here a little bit earlier today. I try to work out of my home office as much as possible, just because there's so many people in and out of the studio. Okay, let's see. You see that pretty good? I'm gonna zoom in as well.
All right.
I'm sitting on my shirt. I can't
Yeah,
do
this
it.
is a
Yeah.
rough set.
Yeah, our setups, it is rough. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit, and just let me put this down a little. Should be okay.
All right.
So what we're gonna do first is we're going to put in the, we're gonna put in that brown. Okay, let me wet. I have my 1/2 inch brush. Okay, with a flat brush, or you can have a, angle brush. Okay. So I'm gonna pull out my Van Dyke brown. I don't want too much paint, so I'm gonna wipe that off just a little bit. I'm gonna take a tiny bit of the white as well. Okay, just a little bit. So if you tend to be heavy-handed with your paint, what you want to do is just wipe it off just a little bit, before you go to your canvas. Remember about not holding your hand like this. You're gonna hold it like this, okay? And so I'm just gonna lightly. I painted this black right before we started. You're gonna follow your shape, and you're always going to start where it's going to be the brightest. So the light would hit more towards the top, not towards the bottom. So don't go down here. And that's actually a little too bright right there. Don't go down here until you're running out of paint, okay? So make it a little bit brighter towards the top. Can you see a little better with that zoomed in?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have that to start, all right? So I'm gonna throw that in my cup, all right? So since a lot of you don't, this is what we used yesterday. We used our dome brushes. This is in the 2-pack, which let's get ready to give away a 2-pack, okay? So we have the 2 packs right here of the dome brushes, and we're gonna give a set of these away. You can use these on landscapes like clouds, grass, centers of flowers, dry brushes, like they're fantastic. And so Rebecca's gonna pick somebody.
Nicole Cotter.
Congratulations, Nicole. So what's going to happen is Rebecca's going to,
Or Haley.
or
Eliza.
Haley, or Eliza is going to, I'm looking for my rake brush. It was the only rake brush I had over here. They're going to tag you with a Google form where you're going to put your name, you're going to put your email, and what you want in there. Do you see it? I had it in my hand right when I started. Who knows? We have 20. Here it is. Okay. So rake brush, we have videos on how to, and Haley can actually probably give a link from Searchy on how to cut a rake brush. It actually says on it, Haley, it's like on a clipboard, says how to cut a rake brush. If you don't have one, you can just take a flat brush and cut it at an angle. Just snip with the end of the scissors, okay? And just make it look like it's like a little tube right there, all right? And this is how, before we had the dome brushes made, this is how we would put our highlights on our sunflowers, okay? So I'm taking a little bit of the light brown and a little bit of the white, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna tap, I'm gonna follow, and the reason why instead of using just a round brush with a point on it, you would want to use something with more bristles that are separated is that so you don't have to touch it as many times. I always like using the least effort to create what you want to create. So just least amount of strokes, the least work, okay? So I'm just going around in a circle just like that. Then I'm going to do the same thing inside there. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a gap and I'm just touching it. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And then what you do once you get that in, wipe off your brush a little on your paint towel, grab a little bit of white, okay? And we're going to just touch and make them a little bit brighter in some areas, all right? Just a tiny bit, all right? And then the bottom I'm not doing much because it would be shadowed a little bit, but if you wanted something down here, just go down here when you barely have any paint and just lightly touch it, give an implication that the seeds go the whole way around. But don't put too much detail there because it would be shadowed, okay? Then once I have that in, if you want to, I take the time to darken just a little bit. I take a little bit of black and I put some darkness and a little bit more water. So I want to put a little bit of darkness in this row between, all right? So, and if you don't like it, you can always black it out and start again. Don't ever get stressed, and then you can put the black right in the center, okay? Once again, so if you weren't on with us yesterday, which the live is pinned on our KCK HQ page at the top, but if you weren't on with us, I want you to know that every single thing that you do with sorry about this ring light, that's so lighted over here, but everything you do is fixable. Every single thing is fixable. You can take a damp paint towel and just wipe it off. You can paint over it when it's dry, but if it's a little bit wet, you can get it off. Even after I would say if it would dry for 20 minutes, you can still rub it off. So don't ever worry about trying something. You know, I'm trying to look at it. I know. Okay, so let's paint some pumpkins. I have to pop this out actually. Let's paint some pumpkins because I don't want to get, I'm terrible about getting paint on the frames, you know. I'm a messy painter. I don't know about you guys, but I didn't put an apron on my pants again. So these are the wood frames that are on our app that you can pop your paintings in and out by season. You can set that down there. I'll put this on the ground. Thank you so much. Thank you. Here. Okay, so I'm gonna put this up here. Now you can change this painting, by the way, is a smaller version of that. If you remember, this is in the grab and go, so you can print out this stencil. This is on 12 by 16 black canvas, okay? Did you want to give away the dome brushes?
I did. Nicole Cotter got.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then second winner of brushes, right? Still.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Second pack of brushes for the 2-pack here is Rose Wood.
Congratulations, Rose. Must have left all my half inches over here. I'm all discombobulated, changing everything, how we sit, you know? Yeah. Okay, so you can change your pumpkins to any color, all right? So this is gonna apply to any color. I'm left-handed, so I'm gonna start on this pumpkin right here, okay? And that's just so you don't drag your hand through the paint. But you can start on this one if you like as well. But if you wanna keep with the same coloring as I am, what we're going to do, we're just gonna try to get 2 pumpkins in today, okay? Because we have all week to work on this. But I'm gonna work with brown, I'm gonna work with black, I'm gonna work with white. I'm gonna pull in a little bit. Do I have burnt sienna on this plate? Yeah, I'm gonna scoop some onto burnt sienna. So if you don't have burnt sienna, you can just add, you take your little bit of your dark brown, add a little bit of red to it. You can even add a little bit of orange to it to get your burnt sienna, okay? I have red here, I'd show you. But, yeah. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna start right here. So what we want to do, let me talk about it first, because when we teach, generally what we do is we show you in here, we talk about it, then we paint, and then our painters paint. How we do it in the studio and online also, okay? So what we're going to do is we want to leave a little bit of darkness in between each pumpkin rib. We did learn that years ago. People told us these are ribs. And one year we created a pumpkin class, and I think we had to do it a dozen times. And so we learned all about pumpkins. But we're going to leave a little bit of darkness here. If you cover it up, then we'll, we can put it back in. But make sure where that chalk line is, you leave just a hair, not a gaping amount of black, and I'll show you. So it's a little bit darker at the top, it's a little bit darker at the bottom. I have my 1/2 inch flat brush. You can use, actually we're in a bigger section, so I'm gonna get my 1 inch, but you wanna use the brush that you're most comfortable with. So I'm gonna wet this, all right? And I have this zoomed in, so tell me if I go out of the way. People are telling us that they like the reels that go in really close on things. Yeah. So I'm gonna talk to Isabella to see if she can start editing and zooming in on everything a little closer, But we're gonna make this a little brighter in the center, a little darker at the top. The thing is that I want you to pay attention to, when we're gonna make these strokes, we're gonna make a long, a short, a long, a short, a long, a short. If you start and stop at the same place, you're gonna build a block here, and a block here, and a block here of your lighter colors. So you're going to lift off, lift off, lift off, lift off. You're gonna put down your brush light, press harder, pull off, okay? Put your brush down. Light, press harder, pull off, okay? And I'll show you. I just like to talk about it first, all right? So I'm gonna pull out a little bit. I'm gonna put the tip of my brush in my water. I'm gonna pull out a little bit of my Van Dyke brown. I love the color that brown and black makes. I think it's very pretty and soft with a little bit of white in it, all right? So, and I'm gonna put my brush back into just the tip. Don't fully submerge it. Don't go to the ferrule, which is this nickel part right here. Just a little bit on the tip, okay? So then what I'm going to do, and never go straight to your canvas. Always like smoosh it in this side pile because you don't want it to drip, all right? So I'm setting my hand down. When I want a nice steady mark, I'm anchoring my hand. Those of you that know me know I have a very extensive spinal cord injury. And so I have days that I'm shaky depending on how much I use my arms. If you have any shakes at all, please don't paint with your paintbrush way up high. Anchor it on a dry part of the canvas, okay? So I have my hand down and I'm gonna lift off, all right? We're gonna start just on this one piece here. And sometimes you can use a wide part and sometimes a skinny part. We're gonna start getting this in just a little at a time. I'm gonna skip kind of in the middle for right now. And I'm going to go down to the bottom. Don't cover up all your black. You can let some of that show.
I can't see the bottom.
You can't see the bottom because I'm zoomed in. Let's see if we can get the whole pumpkin in there. Can we?
No.
Oh, so I have to zoom out just a little bit. Thanks, Rebecca. Okay. See, I needed that. That's why I don't zoom in a lot when I'm filming too close, because I am always worried about being out of the frame. So I'm going to start grabbing a little bit of white, okay? I'm gonna grab a little bit of my burnt sienna, okay? So if you don't have burnt sienna, grab a little bit of red and a little bit of orange. And we'll build this up just a little bit at a time. So what I do wanna ask you is I want you to trust the process. This is not done right away. This is a layering process, okay? So I'm lifting off, I'm putting down my brush very light, lifting off. And what you don't want to do is color block. Color blocking, if you're gonna make something all one shade, it's going to look flat. So if you make something with various shades of lights and darks, it's going to look much more three-dimensional, okay? Do you need to interrupt me at all? Any questions?
Yeah. A couple people want to know if they're allowed to sell the painting after they're done.
So yes, so if you are one of our members, our HQ members, you can sell the paintings. You can put them on any surface. So our members put them on all different surfaces. They sell them at craft shows. They sell them, you know, all different venues. You can put a piece of the artwork to sell online. You're just not allowed to teach online because we teach online, but you can teach our designs also. It gives you, the HQ membership gives you the license to teach our designs in your own in-person classes. But what's so wonderful is over time, like we've seen so many people start teaching that didn't think they were gonna teach.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking in 6-8 months. It's like amazing. And we love to see that as well. But yes, you can sell your paintings with our designs on them while you're a member. Okay? Okay. So I'm just gonna leave this as is right now. I'm gonna put a little bit, I'm gonna go right around this arch up here. I'm gonna put a little bit of my Van Dyke Brown on my brush, which I did right before I went to talk. A little bit of Van Dyke Brown, and then I'm gonna leave the rest of that as is, okay? We are gonna highlight the center a little bit more as we go, all right? So I'm gonna get my white and my dark brown, and I'm gonna start here. Oops, I hit the teal. So if you do something like this, perfect opportunity to show you. So I'm gonna take my paint towel, all right? And I'm just gonna put it in the water. And I'm just gonna go like this. I'm gonna lift off with my finger as well. It'll come off. I can tell you about the dog painting that we just showed you, the German Shepherd. And don't think that you can't paint that because you definitely can. Remember how I said I don't look at things when I'm like, whenever I'm painting like the example with live?
Yeah.
And I had the original sitting over here and I lifted off onto the painting like 15 times and didn't know it until it was dry at the end. It's very sad.
We had
I was able to fix it.
several questions so far asking which brands of paint we're using. I know the
Sure.
girls are commenting back, but if you want to just say it on there.
Sure. So we use, I use Lucas paints, Lukas. I also use Creative Inspiration paints as well. So most of our primary colors are Creative Inspirations, and then our soft pastels and some of our metallics, they're Lucas paints. They're both on jerrysartorama.com. Okay. So I'm getting a little bit more of my dark brown, remember, towards the top. Don't go over the chalk lines, just leave a little bit. See how I left a tiny bit there? We're gonna leave a little bit. Don't leave it gaping. That's one thing, like when I'm walking around class and I see, you know, when we're painting pumpkins with our classes, I'll see like gaping amounts of black right in through here. We just need to know where that chalk line is, but we don't need to leave a big amount of darkness in there, okay? Just a little bit. I'm gonna grab some of my burnt sienna. Go ahead. Do you have another question?
No, but I think Katrina was the one who said, trust the process and you will be amazed.
Thanks, Katrina.
Kathy Myers just asked, can you use water paints?
Water-based paint, like watercolors or water-based? Like, because acrylics are water-based. Or is she talking about tempera paint?
She just said water paints, so
it might be watercolors.
Okay.
You could, and you would layer up watercolors. I actually have tutorials on like how to create like an acrylic painting to make it look like watercolors too. You can, I want a little bit more dark brown than the burnt sienna towards the bottom. You can actually, now lightly pressure coming through here, guys, because you want some of that black to show through. Let that black canvas do the work for you, okay? Lifting off, lifting off. See how soft my touch is? It's soft, it's not hard. You shouldn't have to press hard. But you can water down acrylics to look just like watercolors as well. But if you're talking about like an acrylic paint that has a little bit, like has a tempera, you know, it's a tempera paint that could wash off, you can still use that as well.
Paula said, great tips.
Thanks, Paula. Thank you, thank you. So the reason why, like, we get online from here, you know, from time to time, which I probably haven't on, you know, publicly, like I paint in the group every week, but since last, I think it was the Winter Evergreens workshop, but the reason why we like to do it is to show people you can do this. Like, people that have never painted before, can't draw, because you don't have to be able to draw to paint. We have stencils for that, okay? We want to show everybody that all of my paintings are made with like easy to follow steps, okay? You can pause, you can rewind, do it at your own pace. Of course you get better as you go, but they're not steps that you can't do on your very, very first painting, you know? My whole job is to teach people how to break down paintings, so you know, it's very understandable. Everybody can do this stroke, and you have a painting that you love and want to hang on your wall. So like, we have hundreds and hundreds of painting tutorials, and like here in the studio too, even if somebody's walking in the door for the very first time, they should be able to paint every painting that we have here.
Michelle asks, can you use a mister on your painting?
You can, yeah. We have misting bottles here in the studio as well. We use them for various reasons, but you can keep. One thing I don't have with me right here is an extender, so you can use an extender, you know, if you don't want your paint to dry. Right here, we do want our paint to dry though. We really don't want to mist it. But if you're in a hotter state and you're painting in a hotter climate, you may want to. You may not want it to get so dry so fast. Kind of like if you paint outside, if you do any like plein air painting as well, outside you might want to keep it a little bit more moist. But since we are not trying to, best way to state this is maybe like doing a sunset, or we're trying to blend out colors, then we don't need to keep this wet right now. We're going to build it up, and we actually want it to dry, so right now we wouldn't need to.
Paula said, it's amazing how the painting comes to life so quickly.
Oh, thanks, Paula. So under here it would be shadow. Thank you so much, Paula. I'm lifting off as I'm coming towards this other pumpkin, okay? Reason being is this other pumpkin, like this part of the pumpkin would be shadowed by this. This isn't going to be super bright and then drop off. You're always going to have a shadow if there's something in front of it. So you want to lift off. And remember my strokes, what's important about this is one's long, one's short. One's long, one's short. Like I don't make, you watch my strokes right now, I don't make my strokes all the same length because you'll build blocks, and we don't want to build blocks, okay?
Kathy says, no, I wish I was painting along. That looks awesome.
Hi Kathy, thank you so much. And you know, the replays will be available, so don't worry. And the best thing is too about your library, what's going to happen after we are done with our 6 days together painting is that Kaylee, she works off-site, also works on the back end of our membership. She will actually upload all the days into your library, so you won't have to go searching for them also. Usually it's about a week or so afterwards, okay? So I'm going to follow this curve. It's going to be a little bit brighter towards the top because that's where the light's going to hit. But what I want you to think of is you want to lift off. Remember, longer, shorter, where would be brighter, where would be darker. And I'm going to show you, there's very little paint on my brush. Very, very little paint on the brush. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm using the back side and I'm angled like this, okay?
Kathy asked, I have studio acrylics, high viscosity paints. Are these okay to use?
Yeah, that'd be fine as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
So I'm going to start here and pull forward. I'm lifting off as I come towards the stem because the stem is going to have a little bit of a shadow in between that and the stem. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're okay. Whew, sorry.
Oh, she's yawning.
I was trying to hold it in. Kim said the pumpkin looks very white on the video. Is it darker than white?
Oh, so it looks very white? Can you see the browns in there?
Not super well, at least on this laptop, maybe towards the bottom.
I'm going to hold this. Hold on one second. Okay. I think it also depends on like everybody's screen, but do you see so far?
When you held it up closer, I could see.
Yeah, you see so far? Okay, so flip back to here. Yeah, I'm looking through my camera, it doesn't, but it doesn't mean it's not showing up like that online, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna close up that gap. It was a little too much right there. And then I'm also, see how little paint I'm grabbing? Take little paint for this painting. We're gonna use some chunky paint on those sunflower petals, but not right now, all right? So I wanna go right around this outside edge first, and then I'm gonna pull it in and lift off as I'm coming towards the stem, okay?
So what side is the light showing on the painting?
So this is mainly coming down like through the center or coming in through the center, okay? So the light's gonna be hitting like right here on our pieces. Of course it would hit the top of anything just a little bit, but we're just gonna keep it towards the center on here, on our pumpkins around here and around here as well. That's a great question. Okay, so I'm gonna start pulling just some white, all right? A little bit of white. And I'm using the skinny part of my brush, all right? And this is where we're gonna go in this area. I'm gonna start building it, okay? So this is what's gonna help make it look three-dimensional, all right? One stroke long, one stroke short. We're gonna go right up to that, the rib. Don't go to the top or the bottom unless you're almost out of paint, okay? So you wanna start about here because that's where it's the brightest on here because you determined the light source is right down the center, okay? So one long, one short. Don't cover up. See how I'm leaving like those cracks and creases in there? So don't cover all that up, all right? I feel like I could add a little raw sienna into this as well. We'll see. All right, so when I don't have a lot of paint, then I'll come up to the other areas, all right?
Lynn says, I always use too much paint. I have to learn to back it off.
So that's a common thing, Lynn, for sure. Yeah, very common. So as you go, you'll learn to, take your pressure off, use less paint, for sure. So I'm not done with that. Remember, this is like, trust the process, okay? So I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna start following my curve. Make sure you're following your curve. So let me show you something too about pumpkins. I'm gonna show you. Let me put my brush down for a second. So I want this bright right in that center area also, okay? Now are you able to tell a little bit more that there's brown behind there now that we're getting a little bit brighter?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's okay.
Covering all your notes
They're
too.
like, that's okay. Is there a marker here somewhere? Marker. There it is. I love markers. Oh, I'm sorry. My paper. I should get a paper. Oh, this one's ready. The paper's okay, so I'm going to show you something. So here, we're going to do, so whenever you're drawing or painting a pumpkin, all right? So I'm going to, not the best with a marker, but so we have this pumpkin here, okay? So this is going down through here. But in the center, kind of like, it's like a parenthesis, okay? So, and then we're going to just pull this over this way. We're going to follow the shape, okay? So this curves to the left. This curves to the right, okay? You always have these back pieces also. Don't forget about these back pieces unless your view of it's a little bit different, okay? So when I bring this down, it's just going to follow these points like this. But I just want to show you like how you would, I know this is wonky here with the marker, but how your curves are going. So your brush stroke is going to do the same thing. So when you're here, it's straight. When you're coming near here, it's curved. You're curving to the right here and here. Always letting off your pressure as you come down below. You may want it darker because it's shadow down there. Same thing over here. Always brighter towards the top where the light would hit, and then also brighter where our light source is hitting right here in the center. Okay, that's a horrible pumpkin drawing.
It's a great pumpkin.
If I had chalk,
you should have seen my pumpkin.
Listen, you draw everything so well.
I trace.
I like it though. I'm not a good tracer, I told you.
Remember my art class story?
Oh my gosh, do you want to tell me your art class story?
I got a D in Art 1 my junior year, and asked me not to take art 2.
They actually asked her not to take another art class. Like, I've heard horror stories
She's like,
about
can you
art
not?
teachers.
I was like, okay.
Yeah. That's just so terrible. There's an art teacher that's like one of the schools, you know, around here that I don't believe she's there anymore, but she used to make people cry all the time. I mean, all the time, like insane. But I've heard a lot of stories. I've heard
And now
good
I
stories, too.
work here.
Yeah, it's funny that you know
is
what I
funny.
mean? But you really, so Rebecca has a little OCD, as you can tell, everything she does is like perfect looking. And so when she first painted, she was very stressed because she wanted everything perfect. So if this is getting too sticky, what you do is just put the very, very tip in your water, okay?
If what's getting too sticky.
If the paint on the plate right here, where we're pulling
Oh,
it
on
out,
the
it's
plate.
a little, yeah, sticky, just get a little bit of water, okay? So, and I will, as I go, like come and brighten some of these lips, some long, some straight, some short, okay? But yeah, she used to stress over, like, it was the same thing as I told that story yesterday about that teacher that came here. We've had this so many times where then finally, like, she decompressed because she, when she's come back to paint, because she knew that she was gonna leave with a painting that she liked. You have a hard time letting go because you're a perfectionist. A lot of people do.
I don't think anything's worth doing unless it's my best.
Yeah.
So if I do something and it's not my best, then I don't like it and I won't do it.
We
So
all
I feel that way with
do.
everything I do, like whether it's taping a box or
I know.
putting my shopping cart back and then putting all the rest of them in a line. I can't.
Do you see why we
I can't walk
stole-
away.
You know how it all started was, I was like, we were reorganizing the studio, right? And I was like, hey, like, do you have any extra time? Like, when Rebecca's here, do you want to help us reorganize? You remember? That's how we sucked you in.
I remember.
You do? Yeah, you're regretting that. So I'm making that a little bit brighter there. But she was the best organizer ever. She organized our whole studio. And I'm talking very short period of time, too. And we could find everything. It had labels.
That was a couple years.
Yeah, that was a few years back.
Need some more time to do that again.
Yeah, exactly. Now she has no time to do that since we launched the kids, what, 2 years ago? Was it 2? 1 year. I don't even know anymore.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either.
Year and a half.
Okay, so see how I'm bringing this up just a little further, but not as bright. Any questions?
Lots of support coming for me about my art story. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah, that's scarring.
It's.
actually.
I mean, I didn't disagree.
Yeah.
You know, I knew it wasn't my strong suit, but I'm like, well, I would have liked to learn, like, I don't know,
Well,
to
it's
be better.
therapy. And you know what? Like, I find like that it doesn't matter to like if what it looks like as long as you're enjoying yourself and decompressing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I don't know, I see beauty in so many things that people make and I think it's because I see the joy you're getting from it also, like it's part of it, you know? But I always tell people too, like your painting doesn't have to look like my painting. Your painting's your painting. So if you want to change it, I'm just here to teach you like the easiest way to create it and make it look three-dimensional. But it's your painting. If you want to change things or not make it exactly the same, that's fine too. So when I'm making an edge, you would ask like, you know, what else are the brushes good for as well? They have a real nice clean, crisp edge. You can use a little bit more water when you're making an edge. And then I take my pressure off as I move in. So it's a little bit brighter on the edge. See how this builds? It takes a little bit of time to build. And then we need a little bit more brightness in here. And then we're gonna do a little bit of a dance also. We're gonna put a little bit more, you know, dark in some areas also, okay? Bring that out a little further. All right. So also, take a look at your painting every once in a while through your phone camera or step back. And you're gonna get a whole nother perspective of your painting, because when you're up close, you know, your painting looks different than what it does, you know, when you're a little bit further back. Okay, there's a fly. It's loving us. Okay, so before I highlight anything else, what I'd like to do is I'm going to get a little bit of raw sienna. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a dance, and I'm gonna put some, you know, maybe even a touch of burnt sienna in there, but look how, like, just a tiny bit of pink, not a lot, all right? So I want to get some other shades in here so it doesn't get, you know, more towards the whites. So I'm going to get that in there. And then I'll come back. You know what's a good shade for this too? You could use instead of raw sienna.
What?
Is yellow ochre. I love yellow ochre.
You do.
I do.
It's been around a lot more lately.
I know. I must be thinking about Bob.
Is that his color?
He has a yellow ochre, yeah. We have Bob all through the studio. So I used to teach some oil classes, you know, that looked Bob Rossish. And so people started buying, you know, the studio stuff. I'm going to get Bob Ross items, okay? Well, it got to the point where everybody started trying to find stuff that I don't have. And so it's we have Bob everywhere. And then Chrissy, oh my gosh, when I was I think it was within 6 months of like walking again and stuff with my back with the spinal cord thing, and we drove 6 hours to Muncie, Indiana to go to Bob's original studio. And it's out in the middle of nowhere, out past Columbus, I think. And it was really something to see. I was very crippled by the time we got there. It made me suffer for 3 weeks after we got back.
Yeah.
But it was worth it. Were you here when we went there?
No, I don't think so. You had to wear masks, though.
We did. Right. So it was during COVID, yeah. And so, yeah, a lot of you know Chrissy. She's my best friend, like my whole life. And she's involved in the studio. She does the KCK on the road with us as well. And she is funny. But she took me there. I was like, only a best friend would take you to Muncie, Indiana.
I mean,
she was trying to break my spirits, you know. It was a rough, you know,
sounds like a fun time.
I know. So, too funny. Okay, now that I have some, I'm going to lean back and take a look at that. I think I'm going to take a little bit of my dark brown, my mandate brown. Okay, and I'm just going to like tap it, a little bit of water. I don't want too much. A lot of times I go like this on my hand. See how much paint I have.
Are you going to wipe it on your pants?
No, I put my, hold my hand up like this. Yeah, I have another pair of pants on that doesn't have paint on it.
Oh, jeez.
I know. I had an office.
These
day,
ones have
that's
paint
why.
on them if you want to wipe it.
So, so I'm going to use a little bit of my dark brown. You can go into that crevice also. So like this where you had your chalk. So it closes it up just a little bit, okay? Are you guys with me?
They're with you.
They're with me. Bob's paint when I was a teen. Aww.
You can see all the comments if I do something on there. Do you want me to mess? I shouldn't touch anything right now.
No, it's okay. I mean, if you want to, I would love that. I don't know how you do it.
If I touch something, like,
Have you become a techie?
everything will just
Just
fall
here.
apart.
No, it's fine. No, the live's coming from my iPad. It's not coming from that computer I'm looking at. Yeah. So you can touch it.
Okay.
It's okay. So I'm just using a little bit. Don't use a lot of paint. Look how little. Tiny, tiny bit. Because that, I have to tell you, is probably one of the biggest things. Is people using too much paint. And then there's times when we use a lot of paint. We call that chunky paint when we use a lot of paint. And then there's times like this. This is considered more like of a dry brushing technique, okay? And so this is when we use a little bit of paint. We're gliding the back of that, so we're like this, like this, like this, like this.
Maria
not like
wrote,
this.
does anyone else see Cousin It?
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Like the puppy.
What's Maria's last name?
Uh,
Is she from California?
Sabedi
Oh, it's a different
Saba.
Maria. Okay. Because we used to always have this Maria from California in our lives, and she won one of my original paintings also. Okay, so I have some shadows in here. Make sure, so take a look at your pumpkin and make sure that you have like some darkness where it's going to meet the other pumpkins, just a little. See the shadows there? And I could probably like pull some paint into that just a little. I don't want it to be like completely black, but I want some like dark brown down there, okay? You want to make sure it's a little darker down here as well. And then we'll just make a few more highlights on the center of that, some long, some short. And then that pumpkin will be ready, okay?
Are you able to talk about what people need to do if they don't use chalk to trace the stencil, like using carbon paper?
So we do have a video, like if you have your free library, we have a video tagged right at the top on how to transfer your stencil. And actually, you know what, let's put it in the comments from Searchy. Haley, can you do that? How to transfer your stencil. It's also, if you are in the event on this Casey K HQ page that's pinned at the top, I have it in there also.
And just about them wiping off with their hand. Like I know you're left-handed, so this is from
about
Patty.
the chalk?
Yeah.
Okay. What was the question that I misunderstood?
It was that. No, she just was saying for new people, like, you need to go over the lines as they won't wipe off. Just
So carbon paper for sure. So I use chalk. Rebecca will take our Luma projector. We have 2 Luma projectors, and that's how we draw everything for the studio. So she takes the Luma projector, projects my painting. She mirrors the painting from her phone or our shop phone, and then down onto the canvas, and she traces it with chalk. So that's only because we have so many canvases to do. But what you do at home is you transfer it with carbon paper. So on a black canvas, it's white carbon paper. You're using the gritty part facing down, okay? Gritty part facing down. And you trace it with a ballpoint pen. And so you'll have your 6 pages on this big one. Tape them all together, and there's a video for this, okay? And then you trace it, and that actually will not smudge like my chalk is smudging right here. I'm left-handed. I drag my hand all over the painting, so that's a great question. But Haley can take that link out of the Searchy. That's how we house all of our videos, and believe it or not, we have 1,600 and some videos now. Yeah. And so you would think I'd know to look at the right part of the iPad, but I'm stubborn, I guess.
It's sideways, so.
Okay, so I'm going to start adding, that's why. I'm just blaming it on that, it's just me. So I'm just going to take white, all right, and I'm just using the tip this time, nothing wider. I'm going to make this a little bit brighter, some longer, some shorter. Don't start at the same point, start higher, lower, like move it around. Don't lose your darkness, okay? And do you want to give away some Casey cash, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
Kathy Littman for $5 in Casey cash.
Congratulations. So if you just jumped on, what you have to do when you win Casey cash, that's a free app. Just download the app, because then we can just jump in there with your email address and drop the Casey cash into your account, okay? So just search Casey K in the App Store, all right? And that's where you can use that towards paintbrushes, kits, aprons, easels, anything you want. And then our 10-pack of brushes is back in stock as of next week. They're just putting everything together. It was a pleasant surprise that when we launched our paintbrush line that the 10-pack sold out. But it was a whirlwind.
Yeah.
It was a little crazy.
It's all right.
Yeah. We appreciate it, and we have a lot of great feedback, so I'm thankful that you guys love the brushes. They do help, so your tool makes a difference. You can always paint, with different tools, but sometimes it makes a difference in how quickly or how easily you can achieve the stroke, And so our painters have told us that it did make a big difference. So I'm going to go down through here. All right, I want to take off my pressure, less paint, but I do need a couple of highlights down here. We can't just have it like dead stop. All right, how am I on time, Miss Rebecca?
It is 9:05.
You're kidding me. So tonight went by so fast.
Yeah.
So I would have thought it was like 8:30.
We have time blindness. It's a thing.
I know it is a thing. Listen, and I'm terrible. Like I'll say my son something like that just happened last week. He's like, "Mom, it's like a month ago."
Yes, I do notice that.
You do, yeah. My daughter comes home from New York tomorrow, so I'm very excited about that.
Is there another name for a rake brush?
Yes, there is. I know it. Hold on 1 second. It'll come to me. I know it because our manufacturer calls it something different also. We've always called it a rake. They call it, it'll come to me in the most inopportune time, I'm sure. You could probably Google that. It's called something else. Another name for a rake brush. That's gonna drive me crazy because I know it.
Sorry.
It is it'll be like one of those things like 2 o'clock in the morning.
You'll wake up.
I'll wake up and be like, I could put in the orange pumpkin though fairly quickly. This is our biggest one. So do you guys want me to put that in? It'll probably be like maybe 10 to 12 minutes.
Can I go get my drink out of the fridge?
Never. Yeah, of course.
Should I go now?
You don't have to ask me.
I don't want to just ghost you.
You're fine.
Should I go now?
Funny. Sure. That's fine.
May I go now?
You don't have to ask me. I tell her all the time, like, because we're a team, and she'll be like, "You're my boss." I'm like, "No, we're a team."
Literally are.
Oh my gosh, you hear her? She says that all the time. I'll be like, "Is that okay?" And she's like, "Casey,
I work for you.
oh, stop saying that." Too funny. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna lean back and take a look at it. I want to see that if it looks three-dimensional. I might. Let me see. I think I'm okay with my darkness down here. I'm gonna hold it up so you guys can see it before we move to the next one. I am gonna take a little bit more. Oh, I hit that. I hit the Viridian again. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna get it now. That's from lifting off of my plate. So when you do this and you just put paint on here, don't press hard so you don't wipe off all the layers. Very lightly. I press a little harder, should I? Very lightly and pull it through. I touched that Viridian again. Darn it. Okay, so I'm gonna go back here. I'm gonna fix it. Everything's fixable. Don't ever stress. You're totally fine. I'm totally fine. So I'm gonna get a little bit of my dark brown like I was. And I just want to put in a couple more like.
Melina said comb? Like comb?
Yes, it's a comb shader.
Comb shader.
That's it. Thanks, Melina. Thank you. Yeah, definitely. That's what it is. She's absolutely right.
Melinda said feather brush.
Feather brush, that could be it also. But yeah, the most I hear is a comb shader. So I'm just putting a little bit, the reason why you want to put a little bit of your dark brown in towards like where the ribs meet is because that'll make it look like your eye. It'll tell your eye that goes back a little bit there. If you lost your black, then what you would do also is you would take a little bit of, don't just put solid black, you take the smallest amount of black with your brown, okay, just a little bit. Don't touch your teal like me, and you can go back in where the chalk lines were and add a little bit more darkness. You can come into this area, take your pressure off after you're like get most of the paint off your brush, all right? Go like this. Like some pumpkins to go on, like to paint them, are very quick, depending on the color. Like this color takes a little bit longer, so I apologize, I put it on the biggest pumpkin.
It's okay.
Thank you.
Stacy said, are you able to see some of the black canvas through the pumpkin we just painted, or did I not use enough paint?
So I did I let it show through where the chalk lines were a little bit. Do you see that?
Okay.
I also let it show through down at the bottom right here. You see that? And I also let it show through over here, like where I thought it'd be a little bit more shadow. Now the key to this, by the way, is still bring a little bit of paint in here, but really take your pressure off so there's not too much there, okay? So I'm not gonna wash my brush. I'm just wiping off my paint towel. I'm gonna grab my orange, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of my brown, okay? So I'm gonna have those two colors. I'm gonna show you this one. I'm gonna go orange here. So our shadows are dark brown, and with a touch of orange and just dark brown, sometimes pulling a little bit of black, and our highlights are with the orange and white, and then we just go to solid white there also, okay? So this may be a little bit quicker, but yeah, if you use chalk like me, I'm just gonna get a little bit, let's get a little white into this as well. If you use chalk like me and you need to retrace this, look, can you believe how much I've hit this?
You did it again?
I did. Yeah, I'm gonna paint over that one. You're sighing. I've lifted off into it so many times. I should just turn my plate. That would be good. So the reason why that happens a lot with me actually I do that more often than not, is because I don't look at my plate once I kind of know where my paints are. I don't suggest that at all.
No.
Nope, because you do stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna lift up when
Kathy
I get
did Google it. She said, "Are you ready for this? A Filbert grainer."
Grainer, yes. He also has them. The manufacturer has them listed as that as well. Yep.
What?
Oh my God! Look. It's. I just look at listener sign. You know what that sign reminds me of?
What?
Erica's sign. I don't know which one of you
I
gave
gets
it
it
to
from
each
me.
other. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so look, I'm changing. I'm like moving this over this way because then it won't happen.
Ooh.
Okay. See the
Lot.
scoops I keep taking out. Listen, I think she's mocking me now.
I'm not mocking you. I'm being honest.
Okay, so I'm gonna go around this line. I'm gonna pull down. I said I wasn't gonna keep you late today, ladies, gentlemen. We
So-
get more ladies.
You painted over that even though it's still a little damp on the canvas?
Yep. You're not gonna be able to see it.
No, I didn't know that was loud or if you had to like wait for it to dry or.
Nope, it's totally fine. Yeah, because I'm using a tiny bit of water in this, so it's okay. I'm gonna follow my shape. I'm gonna get the base in, and this won't take long to build it all. Now, orange on black always dries darker. Okay, so remember that. You might think it's a little too bright to start, and then it's gonna dry on you, and it's definitely gonna dry darker. So you can put in this first layer fairly quickly. Lift off as you're coming towards the stem from back there. Okay. Do we have a lot of people painting with us? Or are you watching and then painting after? So let us know which one. So make it
Michelle
look-
said the pumpkin is telling you to change the pumpkin color.
doesn't want to be orange.
Yeah,
I
that was
actually-
like the 10th time.
I like making all different colored pumpkins as you do. I'll pull some of the, did you guys see that video I did with all the pumpkin and sunflower paintings? There's a gazillion of them. We had to put them back on the walls, but I'll pull some for you so you can see, you're gonna see all the paintings you can create after you do this workshop. You'll be like, oh, I know how she did that now. So, and you'd be able to paint them. I mean, you'll have a tutorial anyway. But
Your paint towels are from Amazon, right?
yeah, so the paint towels, we've been using paint towels probably since, I would say about 2 weeks after we started doing painting classes, for the fact that you go through paper towels like mad, you know? And so you can order smaller packs of them, but because we put them in our kits and use them in the studio, then we buy them in like boxes of 1,000, but they have them like 20 and up on Amazon. And you can just do a search for like oil rags and they'll come up. So there's red ones, there's blue ones. So I'm using my orange, a little bit of white, okay? So what
Just
I'm,
gonna ask.
I'm using and I'm using a little bit of the Van Dyke brown, the dark brown at times also. But when you get into a smaller area and you want to still use a bigger brush, you can take that corner, a little bit of pressure, and then pull down. So you have like a nice, nicer edge at the top, okay? Remember to get pretty close, like where the ribs are, just leave a little bit of darkness there so you know where it is.
What if you cover that up by accident?
It's okay, you can put it back in with a little bit of black. Yep. It doesn't have to be exact either.
We've got quite a few people painting along.
I love that. Listen, I saw a ton of pictures between yesterday and today from yesterday, and every single one of them were fantastic. So post your progress in the comments. Everybody else would probably love to see your paintings also. I was pleasantly surprised to see how many people painted yesterday. That showed us anyway.
Right.
Yeah. So this one's going to come together a lot faster. We'll put in our dark brown, afterwards. We'll get a little bit of our shadowing afterwards. So I'm using that corner of the brush when it's a little bit closer.
Can you show your brush up close to the camera?
Yeah.
To like after you put paint
Don't
on?
look at the teal.
Okay.
The teal's still up on there. It's not coming out onto my canvas, but it's there. So I try not to wash my brush when I'm doing things like this because I don't want water in it right now. I don't want it, I want it a little bit drier, so I'm not using a lot of paint, all right? when you're working around a line on an edge, you want to apply a little bit of pressure, and that's when your brush goes like straight up and down. But when you're not, you can lay it like a little bit at an angle, okay? And then this one, it'll come together pretty quickly once we get our highlights on there, and maybe put a couple low lights as well. Now you might want to switch to like a 1/2 inch coming back here. It's totally up to you and what you're comfortable with, okay? So then I need to go around that edge, and what are we gonna do? We're gonna pull into here, and we're gonna lift off, okay? So you kind of have a base right here. We're gonna make our highlights in the same areas, which are gonna be like right through here. So we're gonna do the same thing, following our shape, okay? Following our shape. I'm just using the rest of the paint on my brush right now, making a little longer strokes, one longer, one shorter, okay? So then I'm gonna start brightening it, and remember, we'll do a little bit of a dance. We'll put a little bit of darkness in there afterwards as well, okay? So I'm holding the brush vertically, okay? So I'm using the skinny part of the brush, all right? So I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna start adding some of my brighter highlights, all right? Don't cover up everything. Make sure you let some of those other colors show through, all right? I'm gonna go here. You also still have to keep following your shape, all right? Follow your shape, follow the curve, all right? Don't lose everything. You wouldn't have any highlights down here, okay? There would be shadow down there. I'll pull in a little bit more orange as well, so this doesn't get, too muted. But because we're on a black canvas, I'm gonna build up some brightness first before I do anything else. Did you see Miss Claudia? You've been talking to her.
Haven't seen her on here.
Okay. So I'm just gonna pull this down, lift off, okay? I'm gonna come here. So I kind of like to get the sides a little bit also.
What color's on your brush?
Just white on top of the orange I was using. So I didn't wash my brush, and I just added white. All right. But you see how much quicker this color comes together than the previous one we did. So each color, kind of has its own time frame. Because, it depends on how three-dimensional you want to get it as well. So when I'm doing this, I'm not covering everything up that we just did. I want a little bit of a highlight on the top of that. So I'm letting, some of the orange show through, some of the brown show through, all right? One long, one short. Remember, don't stop in the same, don't stop at the same point every time. If I stop at the same point every time, I'm gonna build a block. We don't wanna build a block, okay? This battery's been dying really quick. I'm gonna have to plug this in. Not yet, we're still at 20% on the, it's on the arm of the easel. Okay, so remember.
Oh, Claudia just said hello. Just
Hi,
got on a
Miss
few minutes
Claudia.
ago.
Hi, Miss Claudia. I miss you. Claudia hasn't been able to get in the studio lately. So she's been painting with us since we started. Miss Sarah's probably on there. Is Miss Sarah on? She painted beautifully last night.
Yes, she was on earlier.
She sent me sent us her painting. What about Luann?
Yes.
She's on.
She
Hi,
said I
Miss
was a
Luann.
fabulous tracer.
Aw, she is. She really is. You really are.
Thanks.
Well, that is something like that you said, like it's, it's so true how you said you don't do anything unless you do it well. It's true. So I wiped off my brush, took the white off of it, okay? Because then we want to, when we're on this black canvas, when using white, our orange can get dull. So I'm gonna go in, I still have a little too much white on there. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna add orange to some areas because I don't want this to get, too dark down through here. So I'm putting orange back in some areas. Sometimes it's a little dance, so. But if you like the paler pumpkin, it's fine. I will pull pumpkins for you tomorrow. Like, we'll have them ready. I won't bother Rebecca to do it. Listen, I sent her a screenshot. I'm like, can you pull these pictures? She's like, you're killing me, Smalls.
Killing me.
Killing me, killing me. So we want to, I'm like, where's my drawing here? We're going to lift off right there, but I'm going to add some orange here. I promise we're almost there. Add a little bit more orange down here. Do you notice I haven't gotten much paint at all? Not a lot. Okay. This doesn't look white on there, does it?
No.
You guys see it pretty well?
Yeah. Now, what if, say, if you have a heavy hand and you do use too much paint, because that is a common mistake.
It is.
How do you fix it after that?
How do you fix it? So then you would layer. It depends on what you had a heavy hand with. So if you had a heavy hand with the highlights, then you bring your oranges and your browns back through. If you had a heavy hand with using, darker colors, then you have to go back through and highlight again. It's always something that you can correct. Always. Okay, so we have orange back in there now. So now I'm going to wipe off my brush and we're going to add some brighter white highlights, just like this. Okay. So we're going to go through, make things just a little bit brighter, and then we'll make a couple of touches with a thinner brush of our darks and our lights, okay? All right, so I'm just going to get my white. See how much better I am when I turn my plate away from that teal? That was a jinx. Okay, so I'm going to go here. I'm going to make some lines just a little bit brighter, okay? A little bit brighter here maybe. Remember, don't cover everything. Don't make a block. I always talk about what not to do because that sticks in people's heads also. Don't think that everything's going to click all at once, because every time you paint, something else is going to click more with you, resonate more with you than it did the time prior to that, okay? You'll build your skill set, but my whole job is to make the strokes easy to follow, but it also still always takes time to, develop your skills to the point where you're satisfied completely as well. But my favorite thing is always seeing people paint for the very first time in class and then being astonished at what they've created, I love that so much.
Michelle said, I have an issue when I try highlights. It just doesn't look right at all. How do I get over that because I stopped doing it?
You stopped doing it. Okay. So try it again, but just be very cognizant, be very aware of how much paint you're using and how much pressure, okay? So do you see when I paint something where I feel like it was too bright, I take my finger, and you can do this with a cloth too, but I always use my finger and I go like this. When I paint live with the membership, they'll see a lot, when I feel like I have a highlight that I made too bright, I'll just press down on it so it takes the brightness away.
Yeah.
But I actually wouldn't stop making highlights because I feel like they're just as important as the lowlights and the shadows. Really will make your painting very three-dimensional. And also our members, what they do is when they're stuck on something, they can email us and send us a screenshot of it. And I can quickly tell them how to get back on the right path or what is causing what they don't like. And so they don't do it anymore. And so how to correct that. So that's the other thing with working with us is we work with you when you're creating a painting and you have any trouble whatsoever. The very, very fine marks that you make, the little highlights at the end, we use something called a script liner. Yeah, I can't talk. And so we will go through these areas with a script liner and make very fine marks at the end, though. We do it all together. We'll do it this pumpkin, the whole painting. So your very, very fine highlights, we go through and do them very quickly at the end with the script liner, which is a fine brush, and I'll show you. I think you're gonna love our new script liner. I made it a little bit stiffer. Yeah, because that was the one thing that with the script liners, we always use golden Taklon, and every script liner is kind of loosey-goosey, you know what I mean? And it's longer, and so people weren't used to that very bendy, to use a light touch, then they would not like the script liner. So we made ours a little stiffer.
Judy said, do you mind that some of the canvas seems to show through? At least it appears that it does to me. I know you talked about this a little bit earlier.
What, here, like these pumpkin pieces?
Yeah, like you kind of use that to your advantage because it's like shading it
Yes,
already.
yeah. So that, the reason why we're gonna leave that there, a lot of that is because it's making your eye think that that goes back further. And actually, we're gonna shadow that really quick with our brown and our black. So you actually do want to see a little bit of that, but you don't want it to be super, you know, super dark, okay? We're gonna start in that crevice, take our pressure off as we move out, all right? I'm gonna use a little bit of black and brown. By the way, if you just jumped on, you're jumping on late, and you want to be entered in our prize wheel, Miss Eliza is going to do a prize wheel for every 2 days of the workshop and for sharing the live. You can enter every day just by sharing the live and on your page, and then liking our page and comment shared, so we can look and know that you shared and put you on the prize wheel. Okay, so I'm gonna just put
Patsy said my canvas marks are really showing through.
So then she needs to close it, like her canvas marks, like the stroke marks or the stencil marks. So I'm just putting a little bit of darkness by the ribs. Let me know what she says when she writes back. Okay, very light. See how little paint I'm using? I'm just scuffing. I'm taking my pressure off as I'm coming out onto the piece of of the pumpkin, but I want it darker at the sides, because keep this in your mind. Darker makes your eye think it's going back away from you, so that dips in there. Lighter makes your eye think that it's coming towards you. So remember that when you're painting, like just touched me.
Her stroke marks.
For stroke marks. Okay. So you want to have just a little bit of a lighter touch, and maybe a touch more paint also. Make sure that you're lifting off, okay? But you can see my stroke marks as well, but it's with the different colors, with the highlights and the lowlights. But just make sure that you're lifting off, and that will make your stroke feathered. Where if you're not lifting off, you're going to see like a blunt stop mark in here, so you're going to see like a line here, okay?
It is 9:28.
9:28, I'm done. Okay. I feel bad. I'm going to turn this way.
You want to show your painting
Yeah,
up close?
I was going to shut this off so I don't blind anybody. Here. There we go. I'm going to hold this up for you so you can see. Okay. We have another plate of paint we didn't use. We'll have to save that.
Okay.
I didn't bring that. There you go. Okay. No wonder why I never knew where to hold anything, is because it's in the middle on the left. I always thought it was on the top on the left. What a crazy person I am. So there we go. Do you see, all my weakness. So do you see how where the white is? That makes your eye think it's round, that's coming out towards you, because this is closer, this is the brighter area is what makes your eye think that it's coming out there. Well, we're gonna have this will be darker down here. I feel like this part right here may be just a little too bright, just a hair. So, but we're gonna have a whole bunch of straw and stuff over that, so it'll actually be fine. I don't have to correct that. I would tell you if we needed to. But does anybody have any questions?
Oh, everyone loves it.
Yay. I'll put this back here so you can see where we're at.
Cheryl Kramer said, "Holy Toledo, I'm loving my picture."
Yay, that makes me so happy. Yay.
You can scroll with your
oh, look, you fixed it. Oh, you're so nice. Thanks, Kathy. And Kathy, sorry, we didn't see on Creations the comments yesterday, or I didn't. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, the canvas, Susan, that is a good point to make. So I talk about this all the time. Ever since COVID, they started making canvases cheaper, and they never came back to what they used to be. And so you can always use an extender in your paint. I use a golden product for that if I need to use it, but I don't use it when I'm dry brushing. So what you do is it's like a clear liquid gel. I can bring it and show it tomorrow. I don't keep it in the studio because what you can do is just put a little bit more water in your paint also. But if you need to have your paint stay open, which means wet for a little while, I'm working on mountains and I want it to stay wet and I'm working with acrylics instead of oils, it's a 6-to-1 ratio that you pull in a little bit of that extender into your paint. So you can use that on a very dry canvas, or you would just use like a little bit more water or a little bit more paint. Because if you're seeing that really grainy look, see, this is very close to it. It's like it's definitely closer. I'm gonna hold it really super close to the wrong side again. And but if you get any grainier than that, you're going to want to put just the very, very tip of your brush into your water and into your paint. Smush it on both sides. Don't go straight to the canvas ever. You want to smush it on both sides so it's not dripping, and it's just the very tip. So when you're putting that brush in your water, you're just putting like literally like the very tip of it. It's this small like tip. Look, I know where it is now.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I saw it. It was way up top. Oh my gosh, I've had this iPad for 2 years.
Time to redo every
I
video.
didn't even go mine with you the whole time. The whole time. She thinks I'm crazy. Do we have any other questions? We need to do a couple more prizes.
Virginia said, "Thank you so much for this lesson. I love your painting method."
Welcome. Yay! Thank you.
Barbara said, "Loving this painting."
Yay!
And Becky says it looks so good. Looks amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What I focus on too is highlights and lowlights. Always think that, like, would it be dark right here? Would it be light right here? Also, like, where you're lifting off your stroke. The most important thing about making pumpkins is one long, one short, one long, one short. It doesn't have to follow that pattern. You just can't stop with your stroke at the same point every time. And then we have a banner for this. Every stroke is lifting off, lifting off, lifting off. Even when I'm applying a little bit of pressure around the edge of something and I'm holding the brush straight up and just using the skinny part of the brush, the edge, at the end of that, I still lift off, you know, because I want that to like feather out and not have like a blunt stop to it. So that, and just learning how much paint you have on your brush. You don't have to use a lot of paint. Although we have some pumpkins where we use chunky paint also. And then it's, you know, it's thicker, and but this one is a little bit more dry brush.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two winners before we end it.
Okay.
Joan Stallnacker.
Congratulations, Joan.
Joan, $5 on Amazon, and Rocky Wheatley for $5 at Michael's.
Yay, congratulations. And she'll attach a Google form, reply to your name, and she'll put it there, and then we'll deposit that in your account. At the end of the week, we'll do it. I'll try to get the last 2 days tomorrow, maybe yesterday and today. And then remember to share. Even if you're watching the replay later, if you share, we'll enter you into the big prize wheel to win a month of HQ and $20 Casey Cash. We're going to do 3 prizes like that, okay? I'm not looking at the tape. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But thank you so much for joining us. Like, it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's always fun to paint with you guys. Yeah. So tomorrow we're gonna move over and we're gonna go pumpkin, and we'll do pumpkin stems, leaves. We'll see how far we get tomorrow. I'll try to keep it closer to an hour.
I'll keep
I
her in
think it's all
check.
my talking. I'm sorry. But we'll pin this on the top of KCKHQ so you can see it at a later time if you have to reference it. Okay?
Okay.
I feel like crazy because I keep looking at the wrong thing. she'll have me in shape. Connie, hello. How are you? Thank you so much for joining us, guys. If you need anything, let us know. Here's our email. Just email us. And remember to trust the process. We have to put that on there too. So trust the process. Email us info@kckhq.com. If you still need your stencils and supplies list, and this is the first day you've seen us, go to kckhq.com and scroll down the middle of the page, and that's where you can put in your email to get your free library.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. We'll see you later. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow, all week at 8 o'clock. I hope you're not sick of me by the end of the week.
8 o'clock Eastern.
8 o'clock Eastern time. And I'll send a text out. Oh, so if you want to text whenever we go live, text the word pumpkins. And I'll do it right before we go live. 724-995-0149. Thanks again. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.